for Jennifer, who always had an extra lightsaber. So this has an introduction, and I'm gonna go ahead and read it. If you've seen the first videos, you know it exists already. If you haven't, it does. And I think it'll be really fun to read up to a certain part, and then when we're done, we can get back to it. Introduction. Before I start reminiscing about Fangirl and showing you its baby pictures, I strongly, even sternly, recommend that if you haven't read the book, you do that first. Read the book fresh and unspoiled, and if you still feel like talking about it, meet me back here, maybe with a cup of tea and a cookie, and I'll tell you how Fangirl came to be. We're just gonna read that small paragraph there. Okay. And then you and I, when we finish that, we're gonna get to read that together. Fall semester 2011. A whole decade ago. The Simon Snow series. From Encyclopedia, the People's Encyclopedia. This article is about the children's book series. For other uses, see Simon Snow. Disambiguation. Simon Snow is a series of 7 fantasy books written by English philologist Gemma T. Leslie. The books tell the story of Simon Snow, an 11-year-old orphan from Lancashire, who is recruited to attend the Watford School of Magics to become a magician. As he grows older, Simon joins a group of magicians, the Mages, who are fighting the insidious Humdrum, an evil being trying to rid the world of magic. Since the publication of Simon Snow and the Mage's Heir in 2001, the books have been translated into 53 languages and, as of August 2011, have sold more than 380 million copies. Leslie has been criticized for the violence in the series and for creating a hero who is sometimes selfish and bad-tempered. An exorcism scene in the 4th book, Simon Snow and the Sulkies 4, triggered boycotts among American Christian groups in 2008. But the books are widely considered modern classics, and in 2010, Time magazine called Simon the greatest children's literary characters in Huckleberry Finn. An 8th book, the last in the series, is set to be released May 1st, 2012. The world doesn't end. Publishing history. Simon Snow and the Mage's Heir, 2001. Simon Snow and the Second Serpent, 2003. Simon Snow and the Third Gate, 2004. Simon Snow and the Sulkies 4, 2007. Simon Snow and the 5 Blades, 2008. Simon Snow and the 6 White Hairs, 2009. Simon Snow and the 7th Oak, 2010. Simon Snow and the 8th Dance, scheduled to be released May 1st, 2012. There was a boy in her room. Kat looked up at the number painted on the door, then down at the room assignment in her hand. Pound Hall, 913. This was definitely room 913, but maybe it wasn't Pound Hall. All these dormitories looked alike, like public housing towers for the elderly. Maybe Kath should try to catch her dad before he brought up the rest of her boxes. "You must be Cather," the boy said, grinning and holding out his hand. "Kath," she said, feeling a panicky jump in her stomach. She ignored his hand. She was holding a box anyway. What did he expect from her? This was a mistake. This had to be a mistake. She knew that Pound was a co-ed dorm. Is there such a thing as a co-ed rooms? The boy took the box out of her hands and set it on an empty bed. The bed on the other side of the room was already covered with clothes and boxes. "Do you have more stuff downstairs?" he asked. "We just finished. I think we're going to get a burger now. Do you want to get a burger?" Have you been to Paris yet? Paris the size of her fist. He picked up her arm. She swallowed. Make a fist, he said. Kat did. Bigger than your fist, the boy said, dropping her hand and picking up the backpack she'd left outside the door. Do you have more boxes? You've got to have more boxes. Are you hungry? He was tall and thin and tan, and he looked like he'd just taken off a stocking cap, dark blonde hair flopping in every direction. Kath looked down at her room assignment again. Was this Reagan? Reagan, the boy said happily. Look, your roommate's here. A girl stepped around Kath in the doorway and glanced back coolly. She had smooth auburn hair and an unlit cigarette in her mouth. The boy grabbed it and put it in his own mouth. Reagan? Cather? Reagan, he said. I love that he's introducing her to her roommate. Kath said. Reagan nodded and fished in her purse for another cigarette. I took this side, she said, nodding to the pile of boxes on the right side of the room. But it doesn't matter. If you got feng shui issues, feel free to move my shit. She turned to the boy. Ready? He turned to Kath. Coming? Kath shook her head. When the door shut behind them, she sat on the bare mattress that was apparently hers. Feng shui was the least of her issues, and laid her head against the cinder block wall. She just needed to settle her nerves, to take the anxiety she felt like black static behind her eyes and an extra heart in her throat, and shove it all back down to her stomach where it belonged, where she could at least tie it into a nice knot and work around it. Her dad and Ren would be up any minute, and Kat didn't want them to know she was about to melt down. If Kat melted down, her dad would melt down, and if either of them melted down, Ren would act like they were doing it on purpose, just to ruin her perfect first day on campus, her beautiful new adventure. You're going to thank me for this, Ren kept saying. The first time she said it, it was back in June. Kath already sent in her university housing forms, and, of course, she'd put Ren down as her roommate. She hadn't thought twice about it. The two of them had shared a room for 18 years. Why stop now? We've shared a room for 18 years, Ren argued. She was sitting at the head of Kath's bed, wearing her infuriating I'm the mature one face. And it's worked out great, Kath said, waving her arm around their bedroom, at the stacks of books and the Simon Snow posters, at the closet where they shoved all their clothes, not even worrying most of the time what belonged to whom. Kath was sitting at the foot of the bed, trying not to look like the pathetic one who always cries. This is college, Ren persisted. The whole point of college is meeting new people. The whole point of having a twin sister, Kath said, is not having to worry about this sort of thing. Freaky strangers who steal your tampons and smell like salad dressing and take cell phone photos of you while you sleep. Ren sighed. What are you even talking about? Why would anybody smell like salad dressing? Like vinegar, Kath said. Remember when we went on the freshman tour and that one girl's room smelled like Italian dressing? No. Well, it was gross. It's college, Ren said, exasperated, covering her face with her hands. It's supposed to be an adventure. It's already an adventure. Kath crawled up next to her sister and pulled Ren's hands away from her face. The whole prospect is already terrifying. We're supposed to meet new people, Ren repeated. I don't need new people. That just shows how much you need new people, Ren squeezed Kath's hand. Kath, think about it. If we do this together, people will treat us like we're the same person. It'll be 4 years before anyone can even tell us apart. All they have to do is pay attention. Kath touched the scar on Ren's chin, just below her lip. Sledding accident. They were 9, and Ren was on the front of the sled when it hit the tree. Kath had fallen off the back into the snow. You know I'm right, Ren said. Kath shook her head. I don't. Kath, please don't make me do this alone. You're never alone, Ren said, sighing again. That's the whole fucking point of having a twin sister. This is really nice, their dad said, looking around pound 913 and setting a laundry basket full of shoes and books on Kath's mattress. It's not nice, Dad, Kath said, standing stiffly by the door. It's like a hospital room, but smaller, and without a TV. You got a great view of campus, he said. Ren wandered over to the window. My room faces a parking lot. How do you know? Kath asked. Google Earth. Ren couldn't wait for all this college stuff to start. I had a phase where I would watch a bunch of all shopping for college and moving into college day vlog. Bro, if you don't know, I'm sorry if you do, because you're probably annoyed by this point, but if you don't know, I was born in California, but my parents divorced and I moved to Mexico when I was 11 years old, so that's where I did the rest of my formative and school years, and including high school. And so I felt that I missed the American school experience, which there's a lot to unpack there, but college was like a thing, right? Like, it's a thing in the movies. She and her roommate Courtney had been talking for weeks. Courtney was from Omaha too. The two of them had already met and gone shopping for dorm room stuff together. Kath had tagged along and tried not to pout while they picked out posters and matching desk lamps. Kath's dad came back from the window and put an arm around her shoulders. It's gonna be okay, he said. She nodded. I know. Okay, he said, clapping. Next stop, Scram Hall. Second stop, pizza buffet. Third stop, my sad and empty nest. No pizza, Ren said. Sorry, Dad. Courtney and I are going to the freshman barbecue tonight. She shot her eyes at Kath. Kath should go too. Yes, pizza, Kath said defiantly. Her dad smiled. Your sister's right, Kath. You should go. Meet new people. All I'm going to do for the next 9 months is meet new people. Today, I choose pizza buffet. Ren rolled her eyes. All right, their dad said, patting Kath on the shoulder. Next stop, Scram Hall. Ladies, he opened the door. Kath didn't move. You can come back for me after you drop her off, she said, watching her sister. I want to start unpacking. Ren didn't argue, just stepped out into the hall. Talk to you tomorrow, she said, not quite turning to look at Kath. Sure, Kath said. It did feel good, unpacking, putting sheets on the bed and setting her new ridiculously expensive textbooks out on the shelves over her new desk. When her dad came back, they walked together to Valentino's. Everyone they saw along the way was about Kath's age. It was creepy. Why is everybody blonde? Kath asked. And why are they all white? Her dad laughed. You're just used to living in the least white neighborhood in Nebraska. Their house in South Omaha was in a Mexican neighborhood. Kath's was the only white family on the block. Oh God, she said. Do you think this town has a It's so funny because when I think about taco, I think taco, but when it's taco truck, it's taco truck. I think I saw Chipotle, she groaned. Come on, he said. You like Chipotle. Not the point. When they got to Valentino's, it was packed with students. A few, like Kath, had come with their parents, but not many. It's like a science fiction story, she said. No little kids, nobody over 30. Where are all the old people? Her dad held up his slice of pizza. Soylent Green. Kat laughed. I don't understand the reference. I'm not old, you know. He was tapping the table with the 2 middle fingers of his left hand. 41. The other guys my age at work are just starting to have kids. That was good thinking, Kat said. Getting us out of the way early. You can start bringing home chicks now. The coast is clear. All my chicks, he said, looking down at his plate. You guys are the only chicks I'm worried about. Ugh, Dad, weird. You know what I mean. What's up with you and your sister? You've never fought like this before. We're not fighting now, Kat said, taking a bite of bacon cheeseburger pizza. Oh, geez, she spit it out. What's wrong? Did you get an eyelid? Eyelid, that's so specific. No, pickle. It's okay, I just wasn't expecting it. You seem like you're fighting, he said. Kat shrugged. She and Ren weren't even talking much, let alone fighting. Ren just wants more independence. Sounds reasonable, he said. Of course it does, Kat thought. That's Ren's specialty. But she let it drop. She didn't want her dad to worry about this right now. She could tell by the way he kept tapping the table that he was already wearing thin. Way too many normal dad hours in a row. Tired? She asked. He smiled at her apologetically and put his hand in his lap. Big day. Big hard day, I mean. I knew it would be. He raised an eyebrow. Both of you? Same day? Whoosh. So I can't believe you're not coming home with me. So sad. Don't get too comfortable. I'm not sure I can stick this out a whole semester. She was only slightly kidding, and he knew it. You'll be fine, Kath. He put his hand, his less twitchy hand, over hers and squeezed. And so will I, you know? Kath let herself look in his eyes for a moment. He looked tired, and yes, twitchy, but he was holding it together. I still wish you'd get a dog, she said. I'd never remember to feed it. Maybe we could train it to feed you. When Kath got back to her room, her roommate Reagan was still gone. Or maybe she was gone again. Her boxes looked untouched. Kath finished putting her own clothes away, then opened the box of personal things she'd brought from home. She took out a photo of herself and Ren and pinned it to the corkboard behind her desk. It was from graduation. Both of them were wearing red robes and smiling. It was before Ren cut her hair. Ren hadn't even told Kath she was going to do that. Just came home from work at the end of the summer with the pixie cut. It looked awesome, which probably meant it would look awesome on Kath too. But Kath could never get that haircut now, even if she could work up the courage to cut off 15 inches. She couldn't single white female her own twin sister. I don't understand that reference either. This is too big for me. Next, Kath took out a framed photo of their dad, the one that had always sat on the dresser back home. It was an especially handsome photo, taken on his wedding day. He was young and smiling and wearing a little sunflower on his lapel. Kath set it on the shelf above her desk. Then she set out a picture from prom of her and Abel. Kath was wearing a shimmering green dress and Abel had a matching cummerbund. Benedict cummerbund. It's almost 4 a.m. in my defense. It was a good picture of Kath, even though her face looked naked and flat without her glasses. And it was a good picture of Abel, even though he looked bored. He always looked kind of bored. Kath probably should have texted Abel by now, just to tell him that she'd made it, but she wanted to wait until she felt more breezy and nonchalant. You can't take back texts. If you come off all moody and melancholy, why is it such a weird word? In a text, it just sits there in your phone, reminding you of what a drag you are. At the bottom of the box were Kath's Simon and Baz posters. She laid these out on her bed carefully. A few were originals, drawn or painted just for Kath. She'd have to choose her favorites. There wasn't room for them all in the corkboard, and Kath had already decided not to hang on any on the walls, out where God and everybody would notice them. She picked out 3. Simon raising the sword of mages, Baz lounging on a fanged black throne, the 2 of them walking together through whirling gold leaves, scarves whipping in the wind. There were a few more things left in the box. A dried corsage, a ribbon Ren had given her that said Clean Plate Club, commemorative busts of Simon and Baz that she'd ordered from the Noble collection. Kath found a place for everything, then sat in the beat-up wooden desk chair. If she sat right here, with her back to Reagan's bare walls and boxes, it almost felt like home. Poor baby. Okay, so with Fangirl, because it's so, chapters tend to be pretty short, we're gonna be doing 2 at a time, so. There was a boy in Simon's room, a boy with slick black hair and cold gray eyes. He was spinning around, holding a cat high in the air while a girl jumped and clutched at it. "Give it back," the girl said. "You'll hurt him." The boy laughed and held the cat higher, then noticed Simon standing in the doorway and stopped, his face sharpening. "Hello," the dark-haired voice said, letting the cat drop to the floor. It landed on all 4 feet and ran from the room. The girl ran after it. The boy ignored them, tugging his gold jacket neatly into place and smiling with the left side of his mouth. "I know you. You're Simon Snow, the mage's heir." He held out his hand smugly. I'm Tyrannus Basilton Pitch, but you can call me Baz. We're going to be roommates. Simon scowled and ignored the boy's pale hand. What do you think you were doing with your cat? From Chapter 3, Simon Snow and the Mage's Heir. Copyright 2001 by Gemma T. Leslie. I freaking love everything about this book. I just love how much fun it is, you know? It's so much fun. 2. In books, when people wake up in a strange place, they always have that disoriented moment when they don't know where they are. That had never happened to Kath. She always remembered falling asleep. But it still felt weird to hear her same old alarm going off in this brand new place. The light in the room was strange, too yellow for morning, and the dorm air had a detergenty twang she wasn't sure she'd get used to. Kath picked up her phone and turned off the alarm, remembering that she still hadn't texted Abel. She hadn't even checked her email or her fanfics account before she went to bed. First day, she texted Abel now. More later, XO, etc. The bed on the other side of the room was still empty. Kath could get used to this. Maybe Reagan would spend all her time in her boyfriend's room, or at his apartment. Her boyfriend looked older. He probably lived off campus with 20 other guys, and some ramshackle house with a couch in the front yard. It's very specific. Even with the room to herself, Kath didn't feel safe changing in here. Reagan could walk in at any minute. Reagan's boyfriend could walk in at any minute. And either one of them could be a cell phone camera pervert. Kath took her clothes to the bathroom and changed in a stall. There was a girl at the sinks desperately trying to make friendly eye contact. Kath pretended not to notice. She finished getting ready with plenty of time to eat breakfast, but didn't feel up to braving the dining hall. She still didn't know where it was or how it worked. In new situations, all the trickiest rules are the ones nobody bothers to explain to you, and the ones you can't Google, like, where does the line start? What food can you take? Where are you supposed to stand? Then where are you supposed to sit? Where do you go when you're done? Why is everyone watching you? Kath broke open a box of protein bars. She had 4 more boxes and 3 giant jars of peanut butter shoved under her bed. Kath broke open a box of protein bars. She had 4 more boxes and 3 giant jars of peanut butter shoved under her bed. If she paced herself, she might not have to face a dining hall until October. She flipped open her laptop while she chewed on a carob oat bar and clicked through to her fanfics account. There were a bunch of new comments on her page, all people wringing their hands because Kath hadn't posted a new chapter of Carry On yesterday. Hey guys, she typed. Sorry about yesterday. First day of school, family stuff, etc. Today might not happen either, but I promise you, I'll be back in black on Tuesday, and that I have something especially wicked planned. Peace out, Magic Kath. Walking to class, Kath couldn't shake the feeling that she was pretending to be a college student in a coming-of-age movie. The setting was perfect. Rolling green lawns, brick buildings, kids everywhere with backpacks. Kath shifted her bag uncomfortably on her back. Look at me. I'm a stock photo of a college student. She made it to American history 10 minutes early, which still wasn't early enough to get a desk at the back of the class. Everybody in the room looked awkward and nervous, like they'd spent way too much time deciding what to wear. Start as you mean to go on, Kath had thought when she laid out her clothes last night. Jeans, Simon t-shirt, green cardigan. The boy sitting in the desk next to her was wearing earbuds and self-consciously bobbing his head. The girl on Kath's other side kept flipping her hair from one shoulder to the other. Kath closed her eyes. She could feel their desk creaking. She could smell their deodorant. Just knowing they were there made her feel tight and cornered. If Kath had slightly less pride, she could have taken this class with her sister. She and Ren both needed the history credits. Maybe she should be taking classes with Ren while they still had a few in common. They weren't interested in any of the same subjects. Ren wanted to study marketing and maybe get a job in advertising like their dad. Kath couldn't imagine having any sort of job or career. She'd majored in English, hoping that meant she could spend the next 4 years reading and writing, maybe the next 4 years after that. Anyway, she'd already tested out a freshman comp, and when she met with her advisor in the spring, Kath convinced him she could handle Intro to Fiction Writing, a junior level course. It was the only class, maybe the only thing about college, Kath was looking forward to. The professor who taught it was an actual novelist. Kath had read all 3 of her books about decline and desolation in rural America over the summer. "Why are you reading that?" Ren asked when she noticed. "What? Something without a dragon or an elf on the cover?" "I'm branching out." "Shh," Ren said, covering the ears on the movie poster above her bed. "Baz will hear you." "Baz is secure in our relationship," Kath had said, smiling despite herself. Thinking about Ren now made Kath reach for her phone. Ren had probably gone out last night. It had sounded like the whole campus was up partying. Kath felt under siege in her empty dorm room. Shouting, laughing, music, all of it coming from every direction. Ren wouldn't have been able to resist the noise. Kath dug her phone out of her backpack. "You up?" "Send." A few seconds later, her phone chimed. "Isn't that my line?" "Too tired to write last night," Kath typed. "Went to bed at 10. Chime. "Neglecting your fans already," Kath smiled. "Always so jealous of my fans." "Have a good day." "Yeah, you too." A middle-aged Indian man in a reassuring tweed jacket walked into the lecture hall. Kath turned down her phone and slid it into her bag. When she got back to her dorm, she was starving. At this rate, her protein bars wouldn't last a week. There was a boy sitting outside her room. The same one? Reagan's boyfriend? Reagan's cigarette buddy? "Heather," he said with a smile. He started to stand up as soon as he saw her, which was more of a production than it should have been. His legs and arms were too long for his body. "It's Kath," she said. "Are you sure?" He ran a hand through his hair, like he was confirming that it was still messy. "Because I really like Heather." "I'm sure," she said flatly. "I've had a lot of time to think about it." He stood there waiting for her to open the door. "Is Reagan here?" Kath asked. "If Reagan were here," he smiled, "I'd already be inside." Kath pinched her key but didn't open the door. She wasn't up for this. She was already overdosing on new and other today. Right now, she just wanted to curl up in her strange, squeaky bed and inhale 3 protein bars. She looked over the boy's shoulder. "When is she getting here?" He shrugged. Kath's stomach clenched. "Well, I can't just let you in," she blurted. "Why not?" "I don't even know you." "Are you kidding?" He laughed. "We met yesterday. I was in the room when you met me." "Yeah, but I don't know you. I don't even know Reagan." Are you going to make her way outside too?" "Look," Kat said, "I can't just let strange guys into my room. I don't even know your name. This whole situation is too rapey." "Rapey? You understand," she said, "right?" He dropped an eyebrow and shook his head, still smiling. "Not really, but now I don't want to come in with you. The word rapey makes me uncomfortable." "Me too," she said gratefully. He leaned against the wall and slid back onto the floor, looking up at her. Then he held up his hand. "I'm Levi, by the way." Kath frowned and took his hand lightly, still holding her keys. "Okay," she said. Then opened the door and closed it as quickly as possible behind her. Fair. She grabbed her laptop and her protein bars and crawled into the corner of her bed. Kath was trying to pace her side of the room, but there wasn't enough floor. It already felt like a prison in here, especially now that Reagan's boyfriend, Levi, was standing guard. Or sitting guard, whatever, out in the hall. Kath would feel better if she could just talk to somebody. She wondered if it was too soon to call Ren. She called her dad instead and left a voicemail. She texted Abel, "Hey, one down. What up?" She opened her sociology book, then opened her laptop, then got up to open a window. Form up. People were chasing each other with Nerf guns outside a fraternity house across the street. Pi Kappa weird looking O. Kath pulled out her phone and dialed. Hey, Ren answered. How was your first day? Fine. How was yours? Good, Ren said. Ren always managed to sound breezy and nonchalant. I mean, nerve-wracking, I guess. I went to the wrong building for statistics. That sucks. The door opened and Reagan and Levi walked in. Reagan gave Kath an odd look, but Levi just smiled. Yeah, Ren said. It only made me a few minutes late. I still felt so stupid. Hey, Courtney and I are on our way to dinner. Can I call you back? Or do you just want to meet us for lunch tomorrow? I think we're going to start meeting at Silic Hall at noon. Do you know where that is? I'll find it, Kath said. Okay, cool. See you then. Cool, Kath said, pressing end and putting her phone in her pocket. Levi had already unfurled himself across Reagan's bed. Make yourself useful, Reagan said, throwing a crumpled up sheet at him. Hey, she said to Kath. Hey, Kath said. She stood there for a minute, waiting for some sort of conversation to happen, but Reagan didn't seem interested. She was going through all her boxes like she was looking for something. How was your first day? Levi asked. It took a second for Kath to realize he was talking to her. Fine, she said. You're a freshman, right? He was making Reagan's bed. Kath wondered if he was planning to stay the night. That would not be on at all. That would not be on. What a funny expression. He was still looking at her, smiling at her, so she nodded. Did you find all your classes? Yeah. Are you meeting people? Yeah, she thought. You people. Not intentionally, she said. She heard Reagan snort. Where are your pillowcases? Levi asked the closet. Boxes, Reagan said. He started emptying a box, setting things on Reagan's desk as if he knew where they went. His head hung forward like it was only loosely connected to his neck and shoulders, like he was one of those action figures that's held together inside by worn-out rubber bands. Levi looked a little wild. He and Reagan both did. People tend to pair off that way, Kath thought, in matched sets. So what are you studying? He asked Kath. English, she said, then waited too long to say. What are you studying? He seemed delighted to be asked the question, or any question. Range management. Kath didn't know what that meant, but she didn't want to ask. Please don't start talking about range management, Reagan groaned. Let's just make that a rule for the rest of the year. No talking about range management in my room. It's Kather's room too, Levi said. Kath, Reagan corrected him. What about when you're not here? He asked Reagan. Can we talk about range management when you're not actually in the room? When I'm not actually in the room, she said. I think you're going to be waiting out in the hall. Kath smiled at the back of Reagan's head. Then she saw Levi watching her and stopped. Everyone in the classroom... This is one of my favorite scenes. Okay. Everyone in the classroom looked like this. It was what they'd been waiting for all week. It was like they were all waiting for a concert to start, or a midnight movie premiere. Oh my gosh, midnight movie premieres aren't a thing anymore, huh? Oh, why? That'd be so much fun. Everyone is like always a little weird in the hand. When Professor Piper walked in, a few minutes late, the first thing Kath noticed was that she was smaller than she looked in the photos of her book jackets. Maybe that was stupid. They were just headshots after all, but Professor Piper really filled them up with her high cheekbones, her wide, watered-down blue eyes, and a spectacular head of long brown hair. In person, the professor's hair was just as spectacular, but streaked with gray and a little bushier than in the pictures. She was so small she had to do a little hop to sit on the top of her desk. So, she said instead of hello, welcome to fiction writing. I recognize a few of you. She smiled around the room at people who weren't Kath. Kath was clearly the only freshman in the room. She was just starting to figure out what marked a freshman. The 2 new backpacks, makeup on the girls, jokey Hot Topic t-shirts on the boys. everything on Kath, from her new red Vans to the dark purple eyeglasses she'd picked out at Target. All the upperclassmen wore heavy black Ray-Ban frames. All the professors, too. If Kath got a pair of black Ray-Bans, she could probably order a gin and tonic around here without getting carded. "Well," Professor Piper said, "I'm glad you're all here." Her voice was warm and breathy. You could see she purred without reaching too far, and she talked just softly enough that everyone had to sit really still to hear her. "We have a lot to do this semester," she said, "so let's not waste another minute of it. Let's dive right in." She leaned forward on the desk, holding onto the lip. "Are you ready? Will you dive with me?" Most people nodded. Kath looked down at her notebook. "Okay, let's start with a question that doesn't really have an answer. Why do we write fiction?" One of the older students, a guy, decided he was game. "To express ourselves," he offered. "Sure," Professor Piper said. "Is that why you write?" The guy nodded. "Okay, what else?" "Because we like the sound of our own voices," a girl said. She had hair like Wren's, but maybe even cooler. She looked like Mia Farrow in Rosemary's Baby, wearing a pair of Ray-Bans. "Yes," Professor Piper laughed. It was a fairy laugh, Kath thought. "That's why I write, definitely. That's why I teach." They all laughed with her. "Why else?" "Why do I write?" Kath tried to come up with a profound answer, knowing she wouldn't speak up even if she did. "To explore new worlds," someone said. "To explore old ones," someone else said. Professor Piper was nodding. "To be somewhere else," Kath thought. "So," Professor Piper purred, "maybe to make sense of ourselves?" "To set ourselves free," a girl said. "To get free of ourselves." "To show people what it's like inside our heads," said a boy in tight red jeans. "Assuming they want to know," Professor Piper added. Everyone laughed. "To make people laugh. To get attention. Because it's all we know how to do." "Speak for yourself," the professor said. "I play the piano, but keep going. I love this. I love it." "To stop hearing the voices in our head," said the boy in front of Kath. He had short dark hair that came to a dusky point at the back of his neck. "To stop," Kath thought. "To stop being anything or anywhere at all. To leave our mark," Mia Farrow said. "To create something that will outlive us." The boy in front of Kath spoke up again. "Asexual reproduction." Kath imagined herself at her laptop. She tried to put into words how it felt, what happened when it was good, when it was working, and the words were coming out of her before she knew what they were, bubbling up from her chest, like rhyming, like rapping, like jump roping, she thought. Jumping just before the rope hits your ankles. "To share something true," another girl said. Another pair of Ray-Bans. Kath shook her head. "Why do we write fiction?" Professor asked. Kath looked down at her notebook. "To disappear." He was so focused and frustrated, he didn't even see the girl with the red hair sit down at his table. She had pigtails and old-fashioned pointy spectacles, the kind you'd wear to a fancy dress party if you were going as a witch. "You're going to tire yourself out," the girl said. "I'm just trying to do this right," Simon grunted, tapping the 2-pence coin again with his wand and furrowing his brow painfully. Nothing happened. "Here," she said, crisply waving her hand over the coin. She didn't have a wand, but she wore a large purple ring. There was yarn wound round it to keep it on her finger. "Fly away home." With a shiver, the coin grew 6 legs and a thorax and started to scuttle away. The girl swept it gently off the desk into a jar. "How did you do that?" Simon asked. She was the first year too, just like him. He could tell by the green shield on the front of her sweater. "You don't do magic," she said, trying to smile modestly and mostly succeeding. "You are magic." Simon stared at the 2p ladybird. "I'm Penelope Bunce," the girl said, holding out her hand. I'm Simon Snow, he said, taking it. I know, Penelope said, and smiled. From Chapter 8, Simon Snow and the Mage's Heir, copyright 2001, by Gemma T. Leslie. It's been a while since I reread Fangirl, and I didn't finish reading it last time that I started reading it with you guys, like we did Twilight. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Okay. I really need to give my throat a break, and it's already 4:30 in the morning, so thank you so much for joining me. It is so much fun. I always have a fun time with stories about stories, right? Especially storytellers, because a lot of reasons. The poetic nature, right, of some styles of narration are just fantastic. And then the meta-ness of it is also fun. So Fangirl's a really fun read for me. Alrighty. I totally did not do my outro when I recorded Twilight, so what is my outro? Good video, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I hope that every characters die. See, that's my outro for, like, my main channel. That, like, is not, I haven't, it's not active. Have a good night. Rest well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Your likes and comments are appreciated. Consider subscribing if you'd like to continue reading books with me. Maybe even have some suggestions. Comments down below.